Welcome to today's class. It's Brittany with Scott Leroy Marketing. So today's class, we are going to be going over the KW Command website. So this is the website provided to you guys by Keller Williams International. We're going to be going over how to set it up, make some minor tweaks. If you guys have any additional information you were looking to add or maybe update, we're going to touch upon that as well. But essentially at the end of this class, you will have a fully working website with a live IDX feed. So we are going to jump right into this. I have the command platform already pulled up. So I have my login screen here. If you guys are following along, just make sure you're going to agent.kw.com. And then it will have you add in your credentials. And I'm going to go ahead and log in. And then for anybody not in the live class, anybody who's watching the recording after the fact, I have hyperlinked some notes underneath the recording. If you guys scroll down to the bio of the YouTube video, there will be a clickable Google Doc. That will have any content that we're going over today as well. So if you guys do need anything in writing, it's all available for you. Once we are logged into Command, the first thing I like to go over is the marketing profile, as this marketing profile is essentially going to help brand your entire Command website and really all of the platforms on your Command login. So it's going to essentially brand everything. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. In order to access your marketing profile, we're going to click on our names in the top right-hand corner. And then we're going to go ahead and click on settings. Once your settings page loads, on the left-hand side, you're going to see some additional drop-down menus. We're going to go ahead and click on Connect Settings. And then we're going to see Marketing Profile is right underneath that. And we're going to go ahead and click on Marketing Profile. Once this page loads, chances are most of your information will be added here. However, if there are any changes, tweaks, anything along those lines that you guys are looking to make, here is where we're going to do it. So when you guys first pull this up, chances are you guys are seeing your headshot. One thing I do want to mention about the headshot is it does need to be cropped to be a perfect square in order for it to show up on your marketing correctly. So in other words, if you have a headshot here and it's showing up a little bit wonky, that means it is going to show up like that on all of your marketing. So you do want to make sure that it does look perfect right here, and it will essentially syndicate out to all of your platforms and it will look the exact same. Underneath that, we have our team logo. If you guys are not associated with a team, that's where that realtor logo or that KW logo that I did add into the notes, and I have that up right here, that's where either of these logos may come in handy. If you are not a part of a team and you do not have a team logo, completely fine. Adding one of those realtor logos or KW logo will essentially fill that void for you. You can also leave this blank. However, once you start using the smart plans and other marketing platforms available through Command, you'll notice if the team logo is left blank, it will say picture not available. So in order to avoid that picture not available error populating on all of your marketing, adding something here will just avoid that for you. Another thing I want to address in regards to the team logo, you'll notice that Lori's logo is kind of squished here. The system is smart enough to correct both your team logo and the brokerage logo, which we'll see a little bit further down as well. It will correct it and it will show up correctly on all of your marketing. The only image that needs to be cropped to be a perfect square is your headshot. And if you guys need the KW logo, you can shoot us an email and we can always send you over your DBA logo. However, the actual KW logo that I would recommend for your team logo is on the notes that I posted in the chat. And I'll drop that in the chat for you guys again really quick. And then again, if you guys are following along with the recording, this is all hyperlinked underneath the video. Underneath that, we have basic details, starting with first name and last name. One thing I will recommend, if you guys are going by a nickname or a middle name, make sure that that is within compliance for your board. This is something that your broker in charge can confirm with you just before you update all of your marketing to essentially a nickname or a middle name, whatever it is that you go by. Just make sure that you're good to go with your broker in charge. But as far as first name, last name, anything with a red asterisk will need to be filled out in order to save changes. So as we're going through this, anything with that red asterisk, just make sure it has information added. Underneath that, we have our license number. You'll see here, Lori is licensed in 2 states, so she has both license numbers populating. If you're only licensed with 1 state, completely fine. I would still put the state abbreviation just so it's notated, and then you can plug in your license number. For your team name, again, if you're not associated with a team, completely fine. We do still recommend that you put something here, as it is going to give you a little bit more customization on your website. So if you're not associated with a team, you may want to put your first name and your last name, realtor with Keller Williams Realty, or realtor with Sunset Corridor, whatever brokerage you're with, you can essentially use that as your team name. Your team name will evidently be your title to your drop-down list on your website, which I'm going to go over later. And don't panic if you have not thought of what you want to use as your team name. This can be updated at any time. Nothing that you guys set up on this page is set in stone. You guys can update it as frequently as you'd like. Underneath that, we have our professional job title. This is another section. You will want to make sure that you're following whatever compliance is for your board. If you guys are in a situation where you need to use realtor, all capitals with the registered R, make sure that's there. If you guys are with a state that requires like licensed real estate representative, or anything along those lines, just make sure that you're following whatever your professional job title is with your board. Again, this is something your broker in charge can confirm with you just in case it does vary. And if you guys are looking to do the registered R, it is Alt. So on a PC, it is Alt 0174. So if you hold down the Alt key and type 0174, it will pull it up for you. And on a Mac, I believe it is Command R. That's what someone told me last class. So if you guys are looking for that registered R, that's how you guys can get it, just in case. Underneath that, we have our designations. You guys can plug those in, real estate specific, or if it's a degree, any sort of additional courses that you guys have taken, certifications, you guys can add those in there as well. Underneath that, we have our bio. The first thing you guys probably notice about Lori's bio is that she does have all of those line breaks added. She essentially just has that enter in between the sections that she wants to be split. That being said, you will want to make sure that your bio is added as such. So if you do want it to be seen as several paragraphs, you just want it to be formatted a certain way, make sure you're adding it here with that formatting, and it will automatically populate as such on all of your marketing. So this is kind of like your one-stop shop. Underneath your bio, we have contact information, starting with mobile number and office number. You'll notice both of these are required. And as far as your office number goes, if you are with a board that requires your office number on your marketing, you will want to make sure that it is added. If you guys are with a board that does not require the office number on your marketing, you can replicate your mobile number. However, keep in mind, it will do exactly that. It is going to replicate your mobile number. It's not going to merge them. So you'll essentially have mobile number 12345, office number 12345. So just keep that in mind. You'll also notice that the phone numbers are not formatted. The system does not require you to add formatting now. It actually adds it in automatically. So if you have added dashes in the past, you may want to remove those, as the pages we're creating today will require you to remove them manually as we do each page. So removing them here will just make it a little bit easier for you. I did just get a question as well. Does the bio allow HTML? It does not on this section. If you guys are looking to create a custom page down the line, we do have tip videos on how to add HTML to the website itself. But this platform also feeds to your mobile app. It feeds to your office's website, so your agent profile. Again, this is kind of your one-stop shop, so you will want to make sure that your bio is typed out rather than HTML. Underneath the phone numbers, we have email and website. So for your email, this is going to be whichever email you are using to correspond with your clients through. So if you guys are using your KW email, that's the one you want here. If you guys are using a team email, maybe a personal Gmail that you created, whatever it may be, that is the email that you would want populating here. This is what all of your clients are going to see. This is what's going to show up on all of your marketing. So it's whatever email you are using as a real estate agent. For the website, there are a couple of things I want to notate here. So in regards to the website URL, you'll notice that Lori does have her command website. Quickest way to tell is that it ends in .kw.com. All of the command provided website URLs are going to end in .kw.com. That being said, they will not work with www. At the beginning of the URL. So if you guys are ordering cards, or even if you're just hyperlinking your website on like an email signature, whatever it may be, make sure that you do not have www. Otherwise, it will pull up an error page. So you do want to make sure that that is removed. In regards to the beginning of the URL, you'll notice that you have HTTPS // Every single command website ending in the .kw.com will always begin with HTTPS // So making sure that the URL does have that in the beginning is going to allow your website to be clickable from not only your mobile app, but also from the office's website. So if somebody comes across your agent profile on the office website or on the general KW website, it's going to allow that person to click on your website instead of manually copying and pasting it to another tab. So if you guys only have, for example, this as your website right now, you'll want to just type in HTTPS // and that's going to make it clickable for you. If you guys are using a custom domain, the opportunities are essentially endless. So it depends on what type of domain you purchased, if it ends in .com, .net. So in other words, if you guys purchased a custom domain and you guys have not yet linked it to your website, let us know. That's actually a service that we can help you with. Or even if you already linked it to your command website and you're just having some trouble on how to add that to marketing, shoot us an email, support@scottleroymarketing.com. Again, that is support@scottleroymarketing.com. And we can take a look to see exactly how that should be on your marketing for you, just so there's no discrepancies on the website URL. Underneath that, we have our brokerage information, starting with our brokerage logo. Same thing as your team logo. It looks wonky here, but the system will automatically update it for you, so don't panic. And then on the right-hand side, we have all of our brokerage information, starting with our brokerage name. You will want to make sure this is the full brokerage name. So if you only have like Sunset Corridor, you'll want to add in Keller Williams Realty or Keller Williams, whichever variation your office uses. You also have your office phone number populating here. Again, if you don't have the office number here, if you have opted to do your mobile number twice, again, confirm with your broker. You can also do that here as well. Then we have your physical street address as well as your city, state, zip. For the address, make sure it is the correct brokerage. If you are working out of a business center, or maybe you just transferred or you're an expansion agent, make sure that the address that you are looking to have on all of your marketing is populating here. If you are active out of more than one market center, we can actually assist with updating your account to promote multiple offices. So if that's the case, let us know. There's also a tip video in the notes that has expansion agents. So if you guys watch that tip, it will go over exactly what we're going to do. It is something that you have access to do as well. And then I just had a question come through. Will the custom domain website look exactly like the KW website? If you purchase a custom domain and you want it linked to your command website, what will happen is that custom domain will then populate your command website, the website that we're setting up today. If you have a completely custom website outside of KW, that would be a standalone website. So it just depends on how you have things set up. Underneath that, we have our compliance section. As far as compliance goes, we have our legal footer text, which Lori has added that she is dual licensed, practicing out of both Oregon and Washington. Some agents tend to put each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated in this section. My personal recommendation is to not do that, only because Keller Williams is independently owned and operated is actually a standard legal footer, meaning that if you manually type that in here, it's going to be on your website twice, actually right on top of each other. So if you guys have additional legal footer text that you guys need to add to your websites, whether it's from your board or whether you just want to mention something, whatever it may be, this is where you can add that in. And again, all of the legal information, so legal footer images, your links, your text, this is going to show up on everything. So in other words, if you guys have text that needs to be on smart plans, it needs to be on your email campaigns, your mobile app, all of those sections, by adding it to any one of these sections that we're about to go over, it's going to show up everywhere for you. So again, one-stop shop, and it's going to cover everything. Underneath that, we have our legal footer links. These are fantastic if you have a specific link / PDF, URL, image, whatever it may be, that needs to be added to your marketing for compliance. If you're licensed in the state of Texas, you guys have your information about brokerage services and consumer protection notice. Those have to be on everything. That being said, this is how you can do it. So essentially, it gives you a section for where you can put your link title and also the URL. If you guys have additional PDFs, we've seen some things with COVID. If you guys have specific requirements you guys are following, whether it's something you as an agent is following, your board is following, your office is following, this is a great way to get that out there. We've also seen agents add in information for maybe preferred vendors. They'll put like loan officers and then their URL, whatever it may be. This is essentially a way for you guys to hyperlink something on the footer of everything. So this is a great thing to keep in mind. But if you guys are licensed in Texas, make sure you have those two links here. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Underneath that, we have our legal footer images. I've yet to see a requirement for this outside of the state of Maine. So if you guys are licensed in the state of Maine, they do require the Maine IDX logo as well as the equal housing logo to be added here. If you guys are licensed in any other state, I have not seen a required logo. However, this is also a great location for your designations. So if you have obtained additional designations and you want those logos on everything, this is a great alternative. It's going to, again, put this everywhere for you. Definitely keep in mind, they are super tiny. They're only 128 by 48 pixels, which is essentially a thumbnail, but it will still allow that image to show up on your marketing. Underneath that, we have social, starting with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you have not yet set up a business page for these three platforms, I would recommend holding off until you have that real estate specific page. Keep in mind, again, your marketing profile essentially feeds this marketing to all platforms. So whatever URLs you guys are adding here, they're going to be everywhere. So making sure that they are essentially real estate related and compliant is huge. So you want to make sure those are set up first. Underneath here, we also have YouTube and LinkedIn. YouTube is great if you're in the process of either setting up a YouTube channel, real estate specific. Maybe you've been hosting open houses or doing like the virtual walkthroughs. Again, with COVID, that has kind of made things a little bit easier. It's a great way for you guys to kind of post all of those videos, add the main channel URL, and it's going to be on everything for you. Then on the right-hand side, we have LinkedIn. Any profile you guys have through LinkedIn is going to be business related, so you're golden there. You guys can just add the URL for your profile right here. Underneath that, we have our Facebook pixel and ads, and then Google Analytics. If you haven't set this up yet, don't worry. There are tip videos on the notes that I shared with you guys that go over how to set up both of these. Keep in mind that the Facebook Pixelan ads, they actually retired some of that platform as of, I believe it was July 1st. So it does work a little bit differently now. The actual analytics portion has been retired as Facebook kind of changes and adjusts their business pages. But Google Analytics, I would definitely recommend setting up. Essentially, it's going to allow you guys to track the traffic on your command website, which is kind of cool. So if you guys haven't set that up, again, it's all in the notes, so you guys will have access to it. If you guys did make any tweaks at all, make sure that you're clicking save all the way down at the bottom. So I just had some questions come in for the logos. If you need the logo, just shoot us an email and we can send that over to you. It's also hyperlinked in the notes that I shared if you guys need it immediately. For custom domains, it depends on the domain of whether or not www will work. Again, for command websites, so if they end in .kw.com, it will not work with www. So you want to make sure that's removed. For social media URLs, it needs to be the entire URL. So my personal recommendation, pull up your Facebook page, pull up your Instagram page, and just copy the actual hyperlink in here and paste it in. That's to ensure that you have the most accurate URL rather than manually typing it. But you shouldn't need to take out www. Facebook just doesn't actually use that. It doesn't pull that up regularly. So this was copied directly from her Facebook page. And once you guys have saved that, if you guys got a compliance pop-up, it just means that you guys did make edits. Make sure that you're just acknowledging that. It's just letting you know if anything on here is not compliant, you will need to essentially update it. So it's just a red flag to remind you to make sure everything is compliant. Before we jump into the physical website, top right-hand corner of your marketing profile, you're going to see a toggle switch saying use my information to brand my agent site. You want to make sure that is a green dot. If you're seeing a gray dot, just click on it and it will essentially toggle over for you. And what this does is it then shares the information that you just spent so much time putting together with your command platform. If this is showing up as a gray dot, it essentially means all the information we just added is essentially just sitting there and not yet being used by command. So once you guys have confirmed that is a green bubble, we're going to go ahead and jump into the website itself. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on consumer, which is the last icon on the left-hand side. And if you guys ever question it, white KW, red background, that will give you actual labels too. Sometimes that's easier. Once you guys have this page up, if your screen looks similar to mine, what that means is your website has essentially been set up and today you're going to be making tweaks to it. If your screen does not look like mine, if you're not seeing these 3 pages, you're not seeing a URL right here, it means your command website has not yet been set up. Both of these options are completely fine. If your website has not yet been set up, meaning your page does not look like mine, once we are done the setup process, it does usually take about 30 to 45 minutes for your website to launch itself, meaning that it will not be an active URL for about 30 to 45 minutes. So again, just don't panic. If you guys have already set up your website, looks like this. Essentially, any changes you guys make today will be instant. They're going to show up immediately on your website as we're going through the process, which is kind of cool. So we're going to go ahead and once you guys are on this page, again, all I did was click on consumer. We're going to go ahead and click on site and app settings, top right-hand corner. And then we're going to click on learn more with Kelly guides. Once that pops up, we're going to select the bubble for agent site. And then we'll click on continue. And this process has changed. So if you guys worked on your website a couple months ago, this is a little bit different than what it used to be. Click on continue. I'm using Firefox. So just as a heads up, this sometimes pops up for me. I'm just going to click on leave page. If you guys are using Chrome, chances are the page just loaded for you. Once you guys are on this page, this is just breaking down what we are going to be doing today. So we're going to be choosing our subdomain, which is essentially going to be our command website URL. We're going to be going over some of the themes and styling options, and we're also going to be creating those 3 pages. And we're just going to go ahead and click on Get Started. This compliance reminder may look familiar to some of you if you just launched your marketing profile. Again, this is just letting you know that you do need to make sure that everything is compliant. If you are looking for your Market Center logo, if you don't have that, you can also click here and it will allow you guys to locate your Market Center specific logo. Or if you guys shoot us an email, we can always send it back to you as well. I'm going to go ahead and click on Acknowledge and Continue. Once this page loads, and it does usually take a second, so if it looks similar to mine, just give it 1 second and then it will populate for you. You're going to see essentially first thing on the right-hand side is your subdomain. For all of the edits that we are going to be making today, any tweaks to the website, it's all going to be made in this right-hand side. This massive section on the left-hand side is actually the preview. So again, any changes we're making, any tweaks we're making, all going to be done right on this little section on the right-hand side. The first thing you guys are seeing is your subdomain. This is something that can be changed at any point. So as long as it is essentially compliant with your board, again, touch base with your broker if you're not sure. There are a lot of boards that do not allow real estate. So if you guys are with one of those boards, just make sure you're compliant. But as far as changing it, you guys can come in here. There is also another way to change it, which we'll be going over at the end of class. But you guys would essentially plug in what you want for your subdomain. Subdomain is just the beginning part of your URL. As I stated previously, all of the command URLs will end in .kw.com. So you're essentially just selecting what will be before that. So if you guys have questions on the custom domain, shoot us an email. Just so we can take a look at your account specifically, only because custom domains will vary. In regards to changing a custom domain, that has to be done through where you purchased it. Unfortunately, there is no way to edit or tweak a custom domain through command. It would need to be done by the provider or through the provider. So if you guys are using a custom domain or are interested in using a custom domain, setting up your subdomain will not interfere with that. This is a completely standalone platform. But if you do have a custom domain, shoot us an email and we can help you get it linked to the website that we're setting up now. So once you guys have selected what you'd like to use as your subdomain, we're just going to go ahead and click on confirm. And you should get this little essential teal ribbon that says, congrats, you have claimed your subdomain. That's essentially just locking it in. Even if you had a subdomain here before, just confirm it just to make sure that you're good to go. Underneath that, we have our marketing profile information. The beauty of this section is because we just set up our marketing profile, this is all going to autofill for you. So you don't have to worry about really making tweaks as long as you just went through your marketing profile. So we have our first name, last name, brokerage, address. You'll have your team name here. And what I'll do is I'll pull up Lori's website really quick to show you guys where the team name is going to show up. So this is Lori's website. This is where the team name shows up, and it's the title of the drop-down list. If you leave the team name blank, which you can, what it's going to essentially do is it's going to label this your agent or agent. It tends to vary, but it's essentially just another way for you guys to add some customization to the website, which is why we recommend that you use some sort of team name, whether it's your first name and last name with Keller Williams or first name, last name, realtor, whatever it may be. Underneath that, professional job title, email, your phone numbers plug over, bio is still added with all of those line breaks. We have our license numbers, our compliance information, market center number, all of that pulled over. And then coming down to our imagery, we have our headshot for Lori, which you'll notice is cropped to be a perfect square. And then we also have the logos, our office logo, as well as the team logo, which you'll notice look much nicer here. They are no longer skewed like they were on the marketing profile. And then coming down to social media, you will want to make sure that these are the full URLs. Otherwise, it will not allow you to save and continue. If you don't have the full URL just yet, don't panic. You can always go in later and plug them into your marketing profile, and they will automatically update here. You won't have to go through this again. So if you guys do essentially set up a business Twitter, business Instagram, or if you just don't have the URLs right now, add them to your command marketing profile when you have a second, and it will automatically update on your website. Last but not least, we have our KW app link, which will autofill. You guys actually don't have to do anything, which is great. It automatically plugs that in. It avoids any issues or discrepancies with that URL. And we're just going to go ahead and click on save and continue all the way at the bottom. And that's just going to lock all of this in. Once we've done that, on the right-hand side, we now have style and theme. You'll notice you do have two options. You have the KW red theme and the KW dark theme. Red theme is essentially going to give you red accents, and the dark theme is going to give you like a dark charcoal gray accent. That being said, you can toggle back and forth between these two. You can also change this down the line. So you can essentially choose one now, and if you want to tweak it, you can tweak it down the line. Again, none of this is set in stone, but you can essentially bounce back and forth between the two in order to see which one you like more. Underneath that, we have our homepage text. This is essentially going to be the title of the homepage of your website. So jumping back to Lori's site, this is where it's going to show up. This is the main page of her website. She has Find Your Dream Home as her text, and it shows up right on the main page above that search feature. So whatever you guys put here is just going to be front and center on your website. So make sure if it's like a team name, catchphrase, whatever it may be, just make sure that it's spelled correctly and it's formatted the way that you want it to look. Underneath that, we have our hero images. Hero images, just another way of saying background image. This is where you guys can actually add or remove background images. As of right now, it is essentially a slideshow. These are the KW provided images that show up as the slideshow on your website. If you have more personalized images, maybe you have a team photo you wanted to add, or maybe you just have more like landscape pictures that are from local. They're either, you practice real estate in Florida, you want palm trees and beaches, or you're in a city, you want sky rises, whatever it may be. You guys do have access to delete the standard stock images and replace them with custom images. That is where those stock photo URLs that we put in the notes for this class will come in handy. So if you guys still have those notes, the first couple of URLs on there for the stock photos, you can go on there and find background images to replace the standard ones. That being said, one thing I do want to address as far as the sizing goes, they recommend 1200 by 1200. However, 1200 by 1200 will give you a massive square. You'll notice on our preview, it's actually a very narrow rectangle. So as far as the sizing goes, it's more like 1200 by 600 to 1200 by 800. Thankfully, the system will allow you to crop images as you're adding them. So if you happen to find an image that isn't in that variation, it will just have you crop it to fit the actual website platform. So you don't have to stress about the size too much. One thing you just want to pay attention to is to make sure it is a larger image. If you start coming across some of the smaller images, the system will also allow you to stretch them. However, it tends to distort them. So that's just something to keep in mind. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. And again, there is another way to update these. I'm going to go over that at the end of class as well. So you guys don't have to come through this entire section in order to change a background image. I'm going to go ahead and click on save and continue. And then I just had another question come through. Will users of my website be required to register? I'd like to give everyone unlimited access and search capabilities without registering. So there is no required register. They have the option to register, but there is no required register. So if you essentially share your website, no worries, they'll have access to everything. If they want to start saving properties, kind of like Zillow or Realtor.com, if you guys, I'm sure you guys have used those, they can create a login, and I'll pull this up really quick. They have a sign up and login section on the top right. That's actually for your consumers. So if as an agent, you guys ever try to log in, you can't, you would need to sign up first as a consumer, and then it will allow you to save listings, save favorite listings. It gives you a little bit more access as far as if they try to reach out to you, it allows them to kind of send a message directly. It's pretty cool. I definitely recommend it. I would recommend signing yourself up just so you can see what it looks like, but there is no forced registration. So they will have unlimited access. Now jumping into actually adding content. So this is going to be the first page that we're setting up. This is the About Us page. This is also the page that I provided the content in the notes. So I will be jumping back and forth to essentially copy and paste that information over. And I'll show you guys exactly where everything should essentially go. As far as the right-hand side, all of our pages are going to start with a navigation section. And I'll expand that just to show you guys what it looks like. So as far as navigation, this is just allowing you guys to see what order the pages are in right now on the drop-down list. So if you guys want to change this, you can. There's again another route to do this, which I'll show you at the end of class. But if you guys do want to tweak this, you can tweak it here. And again, it's just going to change the order for you, but this is the same on every single page. Minimize that. I'm going to expand search engine optimization, commonly known as SEO. This is where we are going to select our page title, which is going to be the name of the page on the drop-down list. So in other words, on her live website, this is essentially how these pages got their names, is under the search engine optimization. As of right now, it's set up as company profile. You can leave it as such, or you can tweak it. This is essentially going to be some general information that we're adding today in regards to Keller Williams and their work ethic, and essentially why work with a Keller Williams agent. That being said, you can also name this Keller Williams Realty, Keller Williams, your brokerage name, whatever it may be. You guys can essentially update this to whatever you'd like. And again, not set in stone. I'll show you guys how to make tweaks to it as well. I'm going to label it Keller Williams Realty, and I'm going to put a 2 at the end only because she already has this page. So I can delete one of them later. And then for our URL slug, this is the tail end of the URL. So as we went over previously, Lori's website URL is the godfreyrealestategroup.kw.com. If she wanted to share this specific page with clients, whether it was to one client or she was dropping it in a text or an email, whatever it may be, if she wanted to share this direct page, she can do the entire URL with the slug, and it will just share the direct link to this page for them. You can leave this as About Us. You can tweak it to be a little bit more customized, whatever you guys want. Keep in mind that slugs will not allow spaces and will require essentially a dash to recognize spaces. Just makes it easier to read down the line. For our SEO description, this is essentially a blurb that's going to go over what you have or what you're offering on this website. If you've ever used a search engine, Google, Bing, anything along those lines, if you search for something, generally what happens is it pulls up a list of options. It's going to have the URL and the name of the website, and then kind of like a little description underneath it, pretty much letting you know what you're about to click on. Your SEO description is that little description. So whatever you guys plan on going over in this page is what you would want to add there. As far as today, again, we're putting in some content that just goes over KW. So you can put, again, your brokerage name, learn more about KW, why work with KW, anything along those lines you can add in here. So I'm just going to put a KW agent. And these can obviously be way longer. As you guys kind of start adding in some content, you can come back in here and tweak it as well. Now we jump into the content section. So for this, all of this is in the notes, and I'm going to jump back to the notes really quick just so you guys can see exactly where everything is. But we have like our page header, intro paragraph, section 1 paragraph. All of this is also titled in the notes. So, and it says exactly what to do as well. So we're going to be deleting the headlines. Then we have our footer title, our footer paragraph, section 2 paragraph, 1 paragraph. It's all right here. So you guys can essentially copy this right into this page, which is what I'm going to be doing. So for our title, I'm going to go ahead and give this, I'm just going to call it Keller Williams Realty. If you guys have a DBA name, for example, if you guys are with a specific Keller Williams Realty Select, Keller Williams Sunset, Keller Williams Evolution, whatever it may be, you guys can plug that in as well. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember which one Lori is with, so we're going to stick with Realty. And then for our intro paragraph, I have this up on my other screen. I'm just going to go ahead and paste that content in. And you'll notice it's updating on my preview in real time. And then for my headline, I'm going to delete my section 1 headline. And then I'm going to paste in my paragraph for section 1 paragraph. And I'm going to leave the images as is for now. You guys can also tweak these down the line. You're not stuck with those. I'm just leaving those as is. And then I have my section 2 headline. We'll delete that. And then my section 2 paragraph, I'll paste in. So it's just a lot of copy and paste for this section. And then for my footer, I'll copy and paste that in. My headline, how can we help? And then footer paragraph, contact us today. And again, you guys can add in completely custom content as well. If you guys want to use this for, you know, why move to Florida or why use KW? Maybe you have logos, maybe you have pictures from Red Day, maybe you have statistics, whatever you guys want to add here, you can. This is more so just content. So you'll have this page live today and you can go back in and tweak it however you'd like. Once you have all of that added, you'll essentially be able to kind of just proof it on the left-hand side. Everything looks good, good to go. We're just going to scroll down and click on continue on the bottom right. Oh. This is the About Me page. Navigation, exact same. It's just letting us know which section we are on. Search engine optimization, exact same thing as before. It's going to give you a page title, which this one is set up as About Me. You guys can change this to be like about your name, about if you guys are maybe a spouse team, maybe you're working with a sibling or a family member. You guys can also put like about blank team, whatever you'd like. This is as customizable as you'd like. For our slug, I'm just going to leave that to be About Me. For our SEO description, I'm just going to put learn more about Lori Godfrey. Underneath that, we have our content, and everybody always panics at this section. So do not stress. The preview is wrong. So on the right-hand side, we have our About Me. And again, you guys can tweak that to be like, I'm going to put maybe About Lori Godfrey. And then for your title, you can put Realtor with Keller Williams Realty or Realtor with Keller Williams Realty Select, whatever your DBA name is. You can also obviously adjust your title based on what you have on your marketing profile as well. So if you put Realtor with the registered R on your marketing profile, you'd want to put Realtor with the registered R here, just so everything is clean and matches. But you would essentially put whatever your title. She has principal broker at the Godfrey Real Estate Group. Then we have our bio title about Lori. And then we have our bio. You'll notice the bio is correct in this section. The preview of the bio is not correct, so don't panic. As long as you have your line breaks showing up over here, they will show up on the live website. So just make sure they look correct here. And then whoever asked about the HTML bio, the HTML can be added in here. It just can't be added on the marketing profile. So if you do have HTML you are looking to add, it can be added here. That being said, it doesn't have to be. So if you're not doing HTML, don't panic. You can still just add regular text here and it will show up correctly on the website. Underneath that, I'm going to shrink this up a little bit. Underneath that, we have our contact phone and contact email, and then our contact title. So for this one, if you guys did tweak the bio title, again, if you guys are like a spouse team and you want, about blank and blank, you may want to put contact blank and blank, just so again, everything matches. Contact phone, you'll notice it's just a number here, no formatting. System is smart enough to add that in. Contact email, this is the same email we had on our marketing profile. I still recommend just kind of proof it, make sure that it looks correct, make sure it's the right email, because again, this is one of your biggest marketing tools. So you want to make sure your contact information is perfect. We're going to go ahead and click on continue. This is the last page of our website. Navigation, same company profile, about, contact us, essentially just letting us know the pages that we are adding to our website. We have SEO right underneath that, same as the other two pages. This one is set up as contact us. A lot of agents like to change this. So I'm just going to change it to contact Lori Godfrey. You can also put contact me if you just don't want a plural. If you don't want it to be plural, again, if you're a spouse team, it's already set up for you. So you can just leave it as contact us, or you can put your names and tweak it. For the slug, I'm going to leave that as is. Short and sweet is usually best for the slugs. And then I have the SEO description. I'm going to put contact Lori Godfrey today. And once you have that added, I'm just going to go ahead and expand my content. For our content, we have our title, and then we have our intro paragraph. I'm going to go ahead and tweak this and put something in here. So I'm going to put, actually, I'm going to update this too, Lori Godfrey. And then for our intro paragraph, I'm just going to put contact Lori for all real estate needs. I'm going to change that to me so it's not her name twice. You guys can put whatever you'd like here. If you guys have like a catchphrase or a slogan that your team's using or that you as an individual agent are using, you can also add that in. You can also delete it. You don't have to have anything here. You can even just put a space. Message hint. This is something that you guys have access to tweak. It's essentially the suggestion in the message box. So what are you looking for from your contact? You guys can put, are you looking to buy or sell? What is your time frame? Where are you in your search? What is your budget? Some say, have you been pre-approved? Have you spoken to a lender? Have you spoken to another agent? Whatever information you want from them, it's essentially just the suggestion so they know what to provide to you, what you're looking for as the agent. Underneath that, we have our contact information again. This should be pulling the exact same as the previous page. You'll also notice that for some reason, this one does not add the dashes. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug those in really quick. And then our email is the exact same. And these will both be clickable, which is great. So if someone comes across your website and they want to email you, they can click it and it will allow them to email you. Phone number. They would need to be on a mobile device, but it will allow them to call you right from the platform. Kind of neat. Once you guys have made tweaks, we're just going to click on Save and Continue. Now your site is essentially live and updated. We are going to go ahead and click on Manage Sites, which is the center option, just to kind of take a look at it, make sure everything's good to go. And I'm going to show you guys some quick edit options really quick in the back end of the website platform. So we're just going to go ahead and click on Manage Sites. So now you'll see Lori has duplicate pages on her website. The beauty is it does tell you what date they were created. So I can essentially go back and just delete this. It will delete the entire page. I can also just remove the actual pages from her website, which I'm going to show you guys how to do both. If you did have pages that you know can be permanently deleted, you don't need them. They were starter pages, you can just go ahead and delete it. That's completely fine. And it will remove it from this section. If you guys want to essentially swap out the pages and just kind of make the original ones inactive, I'm going to show you guys how to do that really quick. So in order to do that, again, if you guys did happen to log out and log back in to do this, consumer, we're on that main page again. And we're just going to go ahead and click on Site and App Settings. Once we are here, I'm actually going to work in reverse. So I'm going to click on Agent Site Pages, which is the last tab. And then you're going to see she has 6 pages live on her website. The top 3 are the old 3. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the page. And then I'm just going to delete it. Confirm. And I'm just going to do this for all 3. Just so we don't have those duplicate pages. Another thing to keep in mind on your agent site pages, this is where you can make custom pages that maybe you guys have created live. It allows you guys to come in here and click on Add Page. You'll see all of those pages that we were just looking at. And you'll essentially be able to add them. You can give them a page title, a slug. This is where you guys can update any SEO information. This is where you guys can essentially edit all of that. I'm going to go ahead and remove this too as well. Click on Save. From there, we're going to go ahead and click on our theme. Earlier, I had mentioned that you guys can kind of toggle back and forth to select the theme. This is where you can do that. So it does update in real time. So if you guys choose, say, the red theme and I click Update Theme, and then I just refresh our website, it will essentially update the theme. All it will essentially tweak is going to be the accent colors, which there aren't any accent colors on this page. But if you guys are interested in toggling back and forth, you can essentially see any changes. It will all update in real time. The next section is featured listings. If you have not yet set up featured listings, we have a tip video that goes over it. I highly recommend watching that tip video before just attempting to set them up, because if you do start adding featured listings before launching them, it sometimes prevents it from launching correctly. So our tip video does go over the process on how to make sure that is launched properly. And of course, as always, if you guys have questions on that, just let us know and we can always take a look as well. But it is hyperlinked in the notes. So I would just recommend taking a look, as it will go over that entire process. Unfortunately, I can't go over it because once you do launch them, it won't let you get back to that page. And we have already launched them on Lori's website. As you can see, she has active featured listings, so it doesn't let us pull that same section up. So it's kind of like a once you do it, you'll never have to worry about it again. However, it just makes it difficult for us to show you. So we were able to record it. So that's available to you guys as well. The next tab is our URLs. So these are this is essentially where you guys can tweak your subdomain if you guys want to tweak that down the line, or you can also obtain your mobile app URL. You cannot change your mobile app URL. However, this is a good way to verify it. It allows you to copy it and you guys can plug it into your email signature and email, wherever you guys need to share it. But this is where you guys can change your subdomain. If you tweak your subdomain, it takes 30 to 45 minutes for that to change. Very similar to if you guys just set up your website, chances are it's not live yet. Same idea, just takes a little bit of a turnaround time. If you do change it and you click save and you essentially get that green ribbon across the top that just says, it should actually tell me that now. Yes. Oh, you already used the subdomain. This should be green and it will say your subdomain has been updated. Once you get that green ribbon, it's 30 to 45 minutes for it to go live, but then you're good to go. I would just recommend going to the website and making sure that it does work correctly before updating any branding. Last but not least is general. So this is where you guys can change your hero text. You also have access to update your background images, way easier than going through the entire process we just went through. So if you guys do have stock images that you maybe find on those platforms, maybe you have pictures that you've personally taken and you want to use them as your background images, great way to do it. You can just click on the trash can for the standard ones, go ahead and upload. It will allow you to crop them and add those in. If for some reason you delete these stock images, the provided ones by Keller Williams International, and you decide against using custom hero images and need these back, let us know. We do have them on file, so we can shoot them over to you. And then underneath that, we have our download app landing page. This is essentially a landing page that you guys have access to add. We go over it in the 201 class, so you don't have to worry about this section as of right now. You also have access to add virtual tours, which is kind of cool, and edit active virtual tours. That being said, virtual tour section will only pull from your personal listings. So if you guys are hosting an open house for maybe another agent, or maybe you're a secondary listing agent on a listing and the primary is like a colleague or a spouse, that primary listing agent is the only one who would have access to do this. So if you don't have access, just make sure that you're the primary listing agent. Also has to be an active listing, but you can essentially go ahead and add in virtual tours, which is, again, kind of cool, especially with COVID and everything going on. Last but not least, we have preferences. You'll notice here that you have access to now enable or disable the Keller Mortgage, Keller Covered, and Neighborhoods on your agent site. So you can essentially enable or disable this. Again, just another thing to keep in mind. I would recommend keeping the neighborhoods enabled. And then depending on your board, I know there are some boards that don't allow those to be on there. If that's the case, you can disable them and then save changes. Does usually take a bit for it to pull it off of your marketing, so don't panic. But as long as it's disabled and you've clicked save, it will remove that eventually. From here, I'm just going to go back to my agent site pages really quick, just to make sure that those pages are in fact off of my website. And now you'll see I have gray eyeballs for those 3 pages. All that means is the pages are still here, but they're not visible on the website. If you're ever questioning whether a page is live or inactive, live pages will have a essential clickable. It will turn into a little hand, and they're also going to be teal. If you have gray, when you hover over it, it's going to say no view available. This is not an active subpage. All it means, it's not on your website yet. You would just need to add that manually. If you guys have any questions or any concerns, if something didn't look the same, or if something down the line maybe doesn't launch, especially if you guys just set up your website for the first time, and you're seeing any issues with it, let us know. Shoot us an email, support@scottlebremarketing.com, and we can always take a look at your account. We do also have a 201 website class, which is next week, which we go over how to add custom pages, how to kind of tweak your website a little bit further, just to kind of get it a little bit more personalized. We add some additional pages. So if that's something you guys are interested in, that is going to be next Wednesday. We also have the recording from the last class, which I did hyperlink in the notes. It should be right at the bottom. KW IDX website 201. It's about 90 minutes, and it goes over a lot of information. So if that's something you guys are also interested in, it is available. And yeah, as always, if you guys have questions, just let us know. And I appreciate you guys coming to class today.